Bet you weren't expecting that thumbnail with our title with this thumbnail. Yeah, from Parker Smith, we have the question of what wins in a fight? Not Goku and Superman versus Xenomorphs, because they can tear through Xenomorphs, no problem. No, what would win in a fight? A Xenomorph that came out of a Saiyan, or a Xenomorph that would come out of a Kyrptonian? That is a much more unique question. Now, we've actually had comic crossovers with the Predators, Aliens, and DC before. And Superman has even had a chest burster inside him before. But it's never been able to, it didn't come out. He was able to stop it from bursting out of him. So, this is interesting to me because it all, I think, comes down to how much leeway you can give a Xenomorph Saiyan. Because if we're just going on their inherent biology, which gets transferred to the Xenomorph, that's how the Xenomorphs work, then the Kyrptonian Saiyan on average the Kyrptonian Xenomorph on average should win. By the way, both of these shouldn't look any different than a normal Xenomorph, because they're both human-looking species. But the problem is that the Xenomorph Kyrptonian hybrid constantly is going to be absorbing solar radiation. It has the raw, just stat advantage over a base Saiyan Xenomorph. Now, if a Saiyan Xenomorph were to, say, survive an attack, it would have the Zenkai effect, wouldn't it? Plus, hypothetically, it should be able to access ki, it should be able to fly, and the X Factor, the base X Factor is, if it somehow is able to see the moon, it would be able to turn into a great ape Xenomorph, which would be hilarious to see. Someone make art of that. Come on, if they haven't already. The question, though, is do Xenomorphs even actually legitimately see? Like, do they actually have the view of the world like we do? And the answer to that, I don't believe, is no. They do have some level of visual processing, but they, despite how the games would make you seem, like, okay, how do Xenomorphs see? It's not a question that comes off very often. Xenomorphs see, which is literally the first thing. Okay, Xenomorphs do not have traditional eyes or visible ocular systems, although in some Xenomorphs you can see the human skull in there. Said according to lore novels and films like Alien, they perceive the world through a multi-modular sensory array combining thermal, heat detection, echolocation, reception, sensing electrical impulses and heartbeats, and chemical pheromone tracking. In essence, they are painting a picture in their mind of what the world looks like based on all these facts combined together. But they do not actually see, which actually means a Saiyan Xenomorph hybrid shouldn't be able to turn into an ape, because we know for a fact Saiyans have to be exposed to flux waves, but most importantly, they have to clearly those flux waves have to go through their eyes. They have to go through their eyes, or you got to be shot with it like in GT, because they don't turn into a Saiyan or a great ape otherwise. Every time we see a Saiyan turn into a great ape, it's because they looked at the moon. So clearly, it's flux waves and ocular pathways, which lead to the brain, which cause the snapping effect. So actually, yeah, a Saiyan Xenomorph would not do well against a Kyrptonian Xenomorph, because the Kyrptonian Xenomorph's inherent biology is just greater, at least at base, and arguably it's greater than in the long haul. But there's a catch on this. If the fight isn't taking place near a yellow sun or a blue sun, if it's taking place, say, near a red sun, well, then actually, the Saiyan Xenomorph has the advantage, because it still has all the enhanced features of the Saiyan. It's actually probably more ruthless because it inherited some of those traits. And if it's able to access ki, it has ki. Whereas, unfortunately, Kyrptonians, if they're not under yellow solar radiation or blue solar radiation, are not that much stronger than an average human. In fact, they're really not any different than us in that sense. Their biology is different, but not once they're under yellow, so they're pretty much human at that point. So if that's happening, it depends on the location, but if it's under a red sun, well, then the Saiyan Xenomorph wins. But if it's under a yellow sun, then the Saiyan Xenomorph is getting the teeth kicked out of it. However, Assuming that it inherits biological traits similar to like Cell does, if it say came out of Goku, it should have, and theoretically, innate instinctual knowledge of techniques. Beyond that, we know that things like Super Saiyan is actually a biological function of Saiyans. It was revealed something called S cells are a factor in that. If a Xenomorph hypothetically came out of a Saiyan who had access to the highest forms of Saiyan power that are genetically capable of attaining, Ultra Saiyan Instinct doesn't count on that. And I'd also say not God Key either. Well, okay, now you're hypothetically have a Saiyan Xenomorph hybrid that can in fact transform. The question just be, first off, what it would look like. I mean, you'd probably have a goldish yellow Xenomorph. Maybe its tail spikes grow longer, and then it gets like these super long tail spikes, and its crown grows longer in Super Saiyan 3. Hypothetically, Super Saiyan 4 could be on the table. Hypothetically. I'm going to max it out as Super Saiyan 3. So the question just becomes, who wins that actual fight? And to me, the problem here comes twofold on both the Saiyan and the Kyrptonian part. Because unfortunately, while they're more intelligent than we give them credit for sometimes, they're actually got a very strong hive intelligence. They're not sentient. They can't be like, oh, what's going on here? I want to try to communicate with you. Let's talk. He's like, no, let's bargain to you. I want revenge. He's like, no, it's all primal animalistic instincts, which works well when you're a Saiyan, not well when you're a Kyrptonian. Like, honestly, not having eyes also means that it's not going to be able to use heat vision. It might not even inherently know most of the Kyrptonian abilities. Whereas the Saiyan Xenomorph hybrid, that one just has to keep slashing and occasionally throw a ki blast on instinct. But if we're maxing out to Super Saiyan 3, that thing is going to tire out quick. And again, if we're on a yellow sun, then the Kyrptonian hybrid is not going to tire out anywhere near as quick. Mind you, there's only so much solar radiation that Superman can absorb as quick as he can. So there is that. But there is also the thought that, it can just go dip in the sun. Well, it would have to know how to do that. So if it doesn't know that, if it doesn't even understand its real biology at all, then it's just a very powerful Xenomorph that, frankly, could be taken down with the right effort. So do I take the Saiyan with the tenacity and easier abilities for a Xenomorph to actually use? Or do I take the Kyrptonian, who just has the innate biology advantage and the constant absorption of yellow sun radiation, assuming you're near a yellow or blue star, which is actually even better. Blue star energy is actually even better than yellow energy. I'm going to lean towards the Superman one, but I actually think it'd be a relatively close fight. I think it just comes down to the fact that the inherent natural durability of a Kyrptonian under a yellow sun or a blue sun is greater than the base power of any normal Saiyan. Once you get to Super Saiyan, it does start to change up a little bit. But most Kyrptonians are pretty busted. You really have to get the god levels to really start to get on par with Kyrptonians and Superman. Mind you, and not to throw shade at Death Battle, I do it once in a while, but again, sometimes it's earned. Modern Aizen, I'll never forgive that one. But the Goku versus Superman fights, all three of them. I still don't believe that first off, that second one is a joke. That really is a joke. There's no real analysis done or anything like that. One was a joke. Fun, but a joke. But that first one, they even screwed up like the numbers on that one. Like you see the legit clerical errors in that video. Beyond that, though, they were not giving, I think, Goku. I don't care that Superman won the fight. I just think they weren't giving Goku his due in that fight. Because like Super Saiyan 3, just by powering up, literally threatened the planet and could be felt galaxies away. And then obviously Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, all that. I know they have to max out characters in Death Battle, but man, I don't know. The infinite sun dipping, I don't know. That's just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't know. Still, leads to one of the best scenes in all of Death Battle. That frickin' clash is literally goated. But again, I still contend that Goku can beat Superman, but can and will are two different things. Regardless, I would lean towards the Kyrptonian Xenomorph hybrid. Again, just better biology. It's going to just be just naturally more durable, so it's going to be able to take more hits. And once in a while, it's probably going to actually eke out a power that Superman can use without, like, say, eyes. Like a special breath or something like that. But ultimately, yeah. Beyond that, I think even though the Saiyan has arguably more potential, because, Zenkai boosts and all that, it's naturally not as strong. And the forms that can get even it out with the Kyrptonian Xenomorph hybrid are fleeting. Particularly a Super Saiyan 3. Even if I were to hypothetically, and I mean hypothetically, go all the way to Super Saiyan 4, that would not be a guarantee either. It'd be a lot closer, and then I'd be leaning towards Saiyan Xenomorph, but it still wouldn't be a guarantee. And then if I went even further and said gave it God Key, well, okay, if I give it God Key, then I'm going to go with the Xenomorph, the Saiyan hybrid, because, again, without the innate knowledge of knowing how to strengthen itself, it's just going to keep fighting, and then get its teeth ultimately kicked in. I digress. I would go the Kyrptonian Xenomorph hybrid over the Saiyan Xenomorph hybrid, but this is just my opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you next time.